All right, so I want to bring this up because I wanted to talk about it. After doing that one video yesterday, and so this is where I wanted to just point out the comparisons between when Mario wasn't around, the time I did my Shootaround gaming system, which was at the start of of late June. That's essentially when summer started, right? And that was just shortly after we had 2 weeks of that June gloom, where it was overcast straight for 2 weeks, right? So I started the gaming system then. Obviously, I was experimenting different kinds of games, and to see which ones would definitely benefit me and all that. Just wanted to give it a try, different activities and all that. And Mario wasn't even around then. She came back that one day in 2023. That was like toward the end of June, but I just made one post, and after that, it's like she never came back. And ultimately, if I'm counting activity, she wasn't really active until when she came back in August 24th. That was actually Kobe Bryant Day. That was on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So she was out technically for 2 months, because if you're talking about the last time she was active, that was the one day of my family gathering before Father's Day, and since then she just wasn't active, and she was out for that long. It almost felt more than 2 months, and I was still active on Facebook. So I was doing the experimentation of my shoot-around games, and my summer, for the most part, compared to just last year in the summer, and where my summer is at. I mean, technically summer has not started yet, but it's already June, so I guess you can say where my life is at, if you really want to count it like in general. With my life outside of doing my shoot-around games, and my life when I'm doing the shoot-around games. So it's there's the obvious comparison. In 2023, obviously had a really shitty start, and my record was god awful when she wasn't around. But for the most part, my summer was pretty decent. Yeah, I think I had a more adventurous summer in 2023 than I did last year. And as far as this year is concerned, like with these ongoing issues, I mean, technically, the ongoing issues were more last year as well. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. Like when Mario was not around, my summer was actually better in 2023 because I did more, especially with some of the guys like Russ, Neil, and I remember we did Wild Rivers with Ray, and then we celebrated Ray's birthday. We were in Olive Garden, and then we were on that one hill at the park till sunset. It was in Cerritos. Right close to the freeway, the Hilltop Reservoir Park, something like that. And then we also did what was that? We also did Irvine Spectrum. It was me, Russ, Neil, and Nathan. And I know I did about a few more. I mean, my 4th of July, like the hike that I did was more enjoyable than last year's. And obviously last year, I know with the parking citation, I put the ticket on the on the side window instead of the actual dashboard, even though I had it covered with the sunshade. And and it was a little hotter. So the thing is, that hike that I did in 2023, I enjoyed it a lot more, as well as the basketball shoot-around. I know that I won also in the last year, the 4th of July. It was in my home court, but I feel like I was missing so many threes that when it got down to the nailing the final 4 threes in the second activity, then I was like, man, I'm a little nervous here. But I think within like the 3-minute mark or so, I was able to hit the rest and won my then 10 straight. You know, that is for me career high. Yeah. So yeah, I mean it was good and all, but the one I did in 2023, it was better. I think I found it more exciting because after I hit the required number of threes, I think I hit 3 more, and they were all deep threes. Yeah, 3 consecutive deep threes to end it. And so I thought, man, I got way too excited there. I mean, there was a couple of people on the court, but then after they left, no, actually they were still there. But I was on the other side, and I nailed those 3 consecutive threes. So man, I was like, I wish Mari could see this. But I learned that she was going through something in the 4th of July, and it was not very good. You know, I prayed that she was all right. I mean, I did not know about it until she came back, because remember, she was out for a majority of the summer, right? And so my 4th of July overall in 2023, much better. It was more exciting, more enjoyable than last year. I mean, I did start out with the shoot-around game that I won, went to Coffee Bean, and then I went to the hiking site, which was in, if I'm not mistaken, Aliso Viejo. But yeah, it was a little too warm, but in 2023, it was right by the beach, and it felt so refreshing, even though it was pretty overcast, and you saw the sun just barely pop up, and you know, such a great hike, as well as the shoot around, which was even better. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, my summer was pretty decent. I still had a decent life, even while I was in the process of doing my shoot around season, shoot around games. But yeah, Mari was not around then. Now let's compare that to last year, where and even like going into this year as well. The records are obviously better when she was there. You know, had she been around in that summer of 2023, I feel like my record would not have been as god awful. Maybe up and down. I mean, when she came back on Kobe Bryant Day, you know, my shoot-around game started to get a little bit better, but it was still up and down at the time, especially going into the following year, where it was mostly up and down, and you know, was down under 500 for most of the time, but it wasn't like ridiculously bad. I mean, at one point I was 6 games under 500 for the first couple of weeks of May, because I lost 5 in a row. Now remember, I had lost a historic 11 games in a row in October. I guess some of those games were a little harder because I did the fall special, and I was on the road the whole time. So that's totally forgettable, because I was able to do much better. You know, like, and this was like starting in the summer of last year, after Father's Day. I know she wasn't around again, but this time she actually popped up. This was like on a Monday, so that's the day after. I was like, oh, there she is. And then I started dominating, and oh boy, it was like 2 double-digit winning streaks in the entire summer. Yeah, that's how it became so dominant. Like the shoot-around season, you know, during that summer was a whole lot more enjoyable than my overall summer ever was. Like, it's just reversed. of what it was in 2023. In 2023, you know, life is all good still. You know, somewhat it's still good. It was more adventurous, a little more adventurous than my shoot-around season, which was horrible. Even though I tried a bunch of those new parks, like, you know, for the first time, and Mari was not there. Fast forward to you know, to the following summer. Yeah, she was there this time for an entire summer. Yeah, she was on social media this whole summer, and that itself just made my shoot-around season just drastically improve. I was doing a whole lot better, man. Like I said, 2 double-digit winning streaks, 15 and 10, and I was like, man, you know, that's got to be something to cheer about, to be excited about. Like every moment that I win, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just one of those, you know, it's and every chance I got that I won, you know, I felt so like, you know, it was like a temporary excitement moment where, you know, it was going to make my day better, right? But outside of that, you know, my life was just starting to go downhill, and you know, and it's where like I've hardly had any weekends out. You know, I tried to go out as much as I could on the weekend. The weekends was not so much. It's just a lot more cleanup. I mean, it was just too much cleaning around the house, and you know, just too much of what I witnessed. It's just my home life / outside life is just becoming pretty chaotic. And guess what? Going into this year, yeah, I might have done well on the basketball court, like last year. You know, the record is much improved. You know, a little earlier than last year around this time. But to see where my life is at, it's just I mean, I'm facing the sad reality that my life just continues to go down and down and down. So it's, you know, I'm facing one side of my life, which is on the basketball court, that is going up, and you know, I'm a winner there on the basketball court so far, doing, you know, having won so many of my shoot-around games. So all is looking good so far. You know, I've been doing really well in most of these games. But outside of that, it's just been a real struggle. I mean, how I just wish that, like, I just did not let these outside issues get into my head. Because now look what happened. Look what happened last month and the month before, you know, and even just in the beginning of this year. Like, based on what transpired last year, it's almost like you would think, man, like the group text incident, and, you know, this chaotic home life just continues to get worse and even worse and worse, and, you know, now I'm finally just, you know, trying to find some more mental help out there, you know, and doing what I gotta do to, you know, to get the help I need. I mean, it's just gotten this far. So one side of my life, you know, I've got all these issues just outside of the basketball court, and you know, meanwhile, as long as I'm on the court, you know, I'm always like feeling good and knowing that I got every chance to win, because I know Mari is around. You know what I'm saying? But Mari is definitely around, and really her presence right there is what's making the difference. Look at the score right here, as you can see on this thumbnail. Yeah, that's right, man. After a big win in Hermosillo Park, it's one of the best wins I ever had. And this overall score, I'm only counting last season plus the playoffs, or you call it the first season tournament, and this season. Total all that is 114-73. That to me is just a pretty good record when she's around. 114-73. It can definitely improve a lot more, but right now, I think it's pretty good. You know, 114-73. Yeah, that's if I'm not mistaken, I think that's It's like a 41-point margin or something like that. It's 113 114 to 73. I think that's a 41-point margin. So, I mean, it's gonna improve drastically, in my opinion, knowing that I've been on a roll, especially with the Laker ball and her presence out there. So, my thing is though, it just really sucks to see that. I did not see that coming. But yeah, I mean, like where my life stands right now at this time, it's I'm just feeling more and more pressure every single day, to the point that like for me to just having to go through this process of dealing with my mental issues because of the fact that I'm still in this workplace, and the fact that this workplace is what it is, and what the consequences are, and even just these home issues. A lot of these home issues, like getting to my head. It's just like if it was like less of that in 2023, then I wouldn't have to be dealing with. With all of that, and at the same time to see a dominance in my shoot-around season with Mari around. Hell, it would have felt so much better. It would have made my life look so much better, and maybe even like had my summer, and even just this year by far, had those years been at least like 2023, where it's a little more adventurous, and to see Mari making the impact, still making that impact on the basketball court for me, like doing my shoot-around games with her presence. It would have just made last year and even this year much better. Only if she wasn't, if she had not disappeared for a couple months in 2023, then over the summer, then obviously it would have been the same way. It would have been a lot better as well, right? But this is the effect that I'm seeing. It just sucks that this side of my life it's just been pretty chaotic, and it's just been pretty awful, while on that other side, like to see Mari out there, still in my friend circle, still making her presence known, especially to me, and to see myself win on the basketball court, and a lot of these shoot-around games, and going to last season, mainly in the summer. It's another side where it's like, yeah, I'm doing so well on the court, but not like outside of the court. It's just it's just not a balanced effect, and but this is where I'm at. My life outside of the basketball court last year and this year, it's not very good, while on the basketball court it is good when she's there. And the years before, which is like 2023, and she wasn't there, and I was having a better summer. It's like, man, it's just coincidental that way. So yeah, I just kind of want to touch on that. That's all I gotta say. So I just want to touch on it. Hopefully my life will get better as I go, and that's I'm just praying right now, my summer this year gets better for me. But, you know, I gotta take a lot of big steps here. So, especially when I need to do jobs. So, peace.